Bam.
This is Cori Jacobs, and you are watching the Break It Down Show.
Hell yeah.
Cori Jacobs is a musician with a uh, very unique distinction that he wrote the original theme for the Break It Down show. Some 1,800 episodes grace that theme song, and Corey has uh, created for us a masterful composition and never asked for a dime. But
No.
I think that our long-running um, association allows us to do for each other like very few people in the world, and I love him very much, like very few people in the world. So here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Cori Jacobs.
Hell yeah.
What you been up to, Corey?
Man, I am. I'm writing. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm writing charts. I think this is the latest of late. I have a rehearsal next week, and I'm doing a bunch of oldies like "Save the Last Dance for Me," Ruby, stuff from the Drifters, the Platters, that all. And I'm playing the auxiliary parts, and I'm playing behind William Bryant, who toured with Marvin Gaye and a host of other people, most notably Marvin Gaye, and he's the keyboard player. Amazing cat. Doesn't have perfect pitch, but he has an amazing relative pitch. Like he'll listen, and then 2 seconds later, he's there. And so it's an honor to be playing behind a cat like that. He actually called me and asked me to do it, but I'm playing the auxiliary part, so I have to write charts for I'm playing keyboard sax, keyboard baritone, keyboard trumpet, keyboard strings. So I'm and it's a lot of stuff. Some of it I'm just gonna have to go over and try to memorize it. Some of it's easy, some of it's there's no way I'm gonna sight read some of this stuff. So but that's what I'm doing. I'm mixing an Afrobeat instrumental album that I'm doing. I'm working on a short film with an amazing writer director. Stuff is crazy. Just really good. And I'm also working on another documentary for another documentary with another writer director who I got in contact with through a tap dancer who worked with the Nicholas brothers. Chester Whitfield. If you Google Chester Whitfield, he is a
You'll see a tap dancing fool.
But phenom.
Yeah.
Amongst other things, I have a church gig and I drive Uber from time to time. So it's the life of a musician in LA.
Yeah. Let's talk about your auxiliary playing, though, these auxiliary parts that you're playing, because I'm going to wind it way back to our high school band where we played auxiliary percussion. And I know that we did a lot of, we were in a percussion section that far outsized the band that it was in.
Yeah.
And far outclassed many of the larger bands, if I do say so myself, and I say that respectfully because I don't want to disrespect anybody's hard work, but we worked hard in that section.
Yeah.
And every year we would get to take a bit of a break in that we would play a Christmas concert. And that's where we got to break all the toys out. And we used to we used to laugh. I mean, we took all the other stuff seriously, but we laughed a lot. But during those Christmas shows, man, we used to laugh. We used to laugh at that. Pete, the wind up thing that we played the March of the Toy Soldiers, and the thing would wind up. And then you had the little snapper that made the whip crack.
Yeah.
And we used to crack up playing with all those toys in the percussion section.
That was and I love playing on the glockenspiel.
On the glockenspiel, yeah.
Yeah, and the
glockenspiel, and those great big chimes that we would wheel out. These chimes were the size of like double doors, Pete.
Yeah.
and they were on wheels and they weighed 300 pounds. And we bring them out. And in the concert, they made an appearance where we played approximately 8 notes.
Hmm.
And then we wheeled that monstrosity back into the closet.
How about church bells? Gong, 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 gong. Bong, 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 bong. Did you guys
We
play
never
that?
got that far
No,
with
we
them.
didn't have cretoles. I think they call them cretoles.
Yeah.
They're kind of we didn't, but we
Right.
had a huge, what had to be a 75-inch bass drum that sat on a stand. Like the stand was the size of an elderly person's walker.
Yeah.
And
And it looked like, the luggage stand that you see in a hotel.
yeah,
It was that. It was like the fold out with the straps.
yeah,
It was like a bass drum version of a lawn chair.
yeah.
But anyway, that is all to say that I imagine that's how it is playing all those little auxiliary parts with the strings and because you got to come up with the patches and the
Yeah.
sounds and all
That's
of those
after I
things.
get the I got the Phantom O series, and that is meat and potatoes. It's got almost everything I could possibly need. I like the Phantom a little. Everybody has a Nord lead. That's that red keyboard
Yeah.
that you see a lot of people playing. That board, to me, I have never been fond of.
Really?
Never been fond of. I played it many times, even at some churches. I played that, and I'm like, I don't like this. But I got a hold of the Phantom, and the organ, the B3 on that's the best I've ever heard. It's got strings, it's got mallets, it's got flutes, it's got Rhodes, keyboard, synths, claves. It's got everything, and especially for this gig, I can list it on the keyboard by name, the song I'm playing with the patches next to it. And so I have my set list in the keyboard. So they don't have to hand me a paper. I have it in the keys, and my patches and my splits, they're already gonna be there. So that, and the Nord, you can't do that on, there's no big screen. And a couple people that I know have had Nords have switched to the Phantom because I had one guy, I was at rehearsal, he was playing second keys, and I said, "Can your keyboard do this?" Boo, 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 boo. Oh, wow. No, man, I have to look in to get one. So, but with all due respect, to the Nord is, I mean, a lot of people, they put that up against the Roland, and the Nord is the leading keyboard, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Roland. The Roland Phantom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
When you're
what makes
sleeping
you
on the
like it more?
keyboard, yeah, what's that? Yeah. I gotta
Now
know
that we're
when you're
nerding out
sleeping.
on keyboards.
Don't sleep on that Roland because it's got nice action. There's the
Yep.
goldfish bowl tray on it. I don't know what it is.
And no other keyboard does this that I've ever heard in my life. When I play the saxophone patch and I go up the pitch bend, the sax goes up the minor scale. So it goes da 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 da. It just, and when I let down on the pitch bend, it goes back down the minor scale. I've never seen that in any keyboard. That's what made me go, wow, this is okay. It's got a leg up.
Huh. All right.
Hey, Corey, have you ever played a pipe organ? My favorite
Yes.
instrument in the whole world is a pipe organ. I love these things.
I have played. I went to a jam session, it was in an airplane hangar in Orange County.
Okay.
So this guy had a jam session in an airplane hangar. We were all hanging outside, and in comes a private jet, and they were like, "Get out of the way," because the private jet, it's what, like $37 a gallon for the gas, to fly private, or 40 or 50. I don't know. Maybe it's $100 a gallon. But we got out of the way. So this guy comes. He says, "Hey, come here. I want to show you something." And we walk into his airplane hangar, and he took 5 years to build a pipe organ.
Damn.
In his airplane hangar. I man, if I'd have known, I'd have dug up the pictures. And he took over half of the airplane hangar he had mallets, he had chimes, he had the real pipes. Like you hit the key and the smoke comes out of the pipes and you hear the note. I mean, it was huge. I was
Bellows
like,
and
man, you
stuff.
got a lot of time on your hands. You don't got, there ain't nothing to do. He doesn't even play. That's what kills
What?
me. He doesn't play. He just wanted to do it. So I sat
How did
there
it sound out there in the big outdoors inside of a hangar? Does it sound
inside of an airplane hangar. It was unbelievable. To
Yeah.
this day, I'm like, this, you know what? Some people, you know, they have the means to, hey, I think I want to build a pipe organ and have it take up my airplane hangar. He also had a bunch of vintage airplanes and some like, what do you call those, gliders? He had a lot of old stuff. It wasn't a young guy, but
Yeah.
just to see that type of passion was
Did you
inspiring.
get, so you played his pipe organ though?
Yeah, I played his pipe organ.
And when you played, I mean, like my dad taught me all about pipe organs when I was young, right? And so when I watch one, like the one here at the Crystal Cathedral or the one here at our local symphony hall, it's like King Kong is picking daisies when he's playing with the symphony. Like he's like, I got to take it easy on you guys, and I'm not going to do all this shit. But if he was to just pull out all the stops and just go for it, that thing, it physically moves you. You know, like it's a powerful beast. At least these ones in these settings where they're designed to really shine. You know, but is that how that one was? Did you get the sense of the power of the thing when you played it?
Yeah, well, in the pedals. And when I hit the chords, and there were like 4 layers of keyboards, and it had the knobs that you pull out and push in. It had the names. It had the trumpet, the flute, the clarinet. And it was a modern looking pipe organ. It wasn't like an old pipe organ that you would see in a church with but he did have the pipes. You know, in a church, the pipes are built into the wall. It's basically part of the church. He had the pipes. He had them up in the. It was something to behold, to be honest with you. I was like, you know, my question was, why did you do this?
Well, and then how do you, like, I know people professionally play it. They even have special shoes. Like, you know, these are Puma special pipe organ. They're like $500 shoes. And like you said, you got the stops, you got the flippers, you got the buttons between the manuals.
Yeah.
Sometimes
4 layers.
Yeah, it's crazy. The complexity of that thing and just the power. That's why I love it. It's just such a neat thing to see it play with a symphony or a band or whatever, because it's such a powerful instrument.
Yeah, it's the pipe organ. I have pipe organ samples, but there's nothing like hearing it come out of the metal and seeing the smoke come out. And I hit the thing, and there was this little electric mallet that would hit this marimba. Yeah, marimba, glockenspiel. I was like, he had a whole pit orchestra, but you couldn't do a show in there because where are you going to sit? And I think it was just something that he enjoys. You know how some people collect guitars? Mm-hmm. I know a guitar player friend of mine told me about, you know, the fires that just happened out here. This guy had like 15 guitars, and by the time the fires hit his house, there was smoke billowing in the door, and he could only grab 5 guitars out of the 15 that he had. So he grabbed the first 5, everything burnt to the ground, burnt to shreds. And I'm like, wow,
man,
that happens. That happens so many times. So many people had priceless things, priceless to them, that are, you know, like, I put on this show and I had, you know, the last time that someone's, you know, all that stuff disappeared that day. These incredible collections of history from entertainment. Yeah.
Some people, to hear about it. It is very sad. Some people lost their Bitcoin wallet passwords. Like,
wow.
And if you know how hard it is, like, you can't. You get that password one time. If you lose it, it's a wrap. So hopefully but if they lived in the Palisades, so you ain't living in the Palisades if you ain't got I mean, you got a few mil. You got money. But
at least in that house you did.
In that house you did, yeah. There was one guy I met, he had a house, his dad had a house, and his mom had a house, all in the Palisades. All three burnt down.
Wow.
And I said, well, how are you gonna? And the insurance companies pulled out. He said, no, my parents are insurance. What do you call those? They're insurance lawyers, and they've been doing it like 30 years. And I'm like, oh, well, you're set. You're kind of cool. He's like, yeah, but it's gonna take to settle it all about 10 years. So
Wow.
I mean, it's not gonna be quick, but
No.
I think it will. It's just unfortunate the way that happened, but life moves. Now I'm getting renter's insurance.
Yeah, you should. I'm looking at all that gear behind you.
Yeah.
I know a guy who lives up here now, but he grew up in the Palisades, and there were 3 different houses that he lived in when he was growing up, and all 3 of them burnt down.
I remember driving up there the night, like I said earlier that I drive Uber sometimes. That night I was driving and I saw the National Guard. I saw people were pretty much panicking. I saw 100-mile-an-hour winds, which was interesting. I saw down trees, and then I drove through Hollywood, and it was like a movie set. You said cops everywhere, sirens everywhere. People on Hollywood Boulevard had their phones pointed up to the Hollywood Hills, filming the flames. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete,
Yeah,
do we know the status of our friends who live in that neighborhood?
Some of them, and some of them have lost their home, so it would depend on which friend it was. But yeah, it's it's all horrific up there.
It's all
they're
horrific.
just now allowing people back into Malibu. And
Yeah.
the place where JJ used to stay on the beach down there, that place is gone. And
wait, he stayed on the beach in Malibu?
Yeah. It was an older home, right? Like a lot of them were. And it was like you parked on the road and you went down a staircase past the house to the lower house. And he lived right on the beach, and the surfer hit his house. So
yeah.
I don't know if they can even physically.
You can't build that house now.
Yeah, right.
There's no, they wouldn't let you build it now.
And I hadn't thought about this, but it's got to be because of where those houses are that they're not on city waste, so they're on their own septic thing. And there's no way in California they're going to let you put a new septic system. No way. And if you did, like after you build the contraption around the contraption, what's that going to cost? It's going to be, and you can't say this house is a septic system. It's worth $10 million more.
Yeah, there was a guy on the beach. I did a gig at this one house, and they were like, yeah, the neighbors are selling their home for $14 million. And I went and I looked at the house. I was like, there's no way they're going to get $14 million for this. It's like some of those houses, because of the salt in the water that's been hitting the house for years. I hope he gets 14 mil. I think it's exorbitant, but it's Malibu. You know what I mean? And there's one guy in Malibu. He said he's lived there his whole life, and his bedroom is moving about an inch a year toward the water.
Oh,
that's nice.
Yeah.
You're always moving.
It's getting closer and closer.
Yeah. On his way down to the beach.
I'm certain his eyesight is moving even faster than that. So
I'm like, bro, you need to get out of there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I went to a couple parties up there, and I'm like, this is just too damn close to the water, and there are too many earthquakes, and there's only one way into Malibu and one way out. That's Highway 1, unless you go over to Topanga Canyon. But the only way to get in there is through Highway 1, and the National Guard, the police had the 10 freeway, which ends on PCH. They had that whole thing blocked off. They were diverting traffic the whole time.
And how PCH is, if there's 25 cars on it, you ain't moving. Like it's just there's no room for anybody on that road. And if everybody's trying to get in or out, it's impossible.
Yeah. So and they're just like you said, they're just now letting people back up in there because after the houses burnt down, there's all this toxicity in the air. I live about 15 miles from the Palisades, 15 or 20 miles from the Palisades, and I had ash on my car in the morning.
You had ash on your knees too. So you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, I walked right into that. Oh man.
So let's talk about music, Cori. What have you been, with the stuff that you've been doing musically, you've been composing for film, for documentary films. You've been, have you been otherwise putting your magic fingers to good use? Have you been working a lot?
Not as much as I'd like, because otherwise I wouldn't have to be doing Uber. But I did. I put a band together. We went on an audition. Some lady said, "Hey, I can get you a gig." We go to the audition. I didn't believe her. I get there. There are 10 other jazz bands there. They're much younger. They look the part. Like, if you're going to be on TV, you want somebody. I don't know what they're looking for. So, hey, I told the guys, we were diverse. I had a white guy. I had a Japanese guy, and it was me. And we nailed it. And it was for Little Caesars. We get the call. And now we're on the Paramount lot. We're shooting the commercial at the same house where Hancock was shot at. And Amityville Horror. And this whole cul-de-sac was where a whole bunch of movies were shot. It's on their lot. So these houses have fronts, but when you walk around the side, they don't have backs. Like, so, you know what I mean? I was just like, whoa. That was crazy. And then I brought my keyboard, but my keyboard was too big because they wanted us in this little corner. The keyboard studio's not gonna fit. We squeezed into this corner, and they gave me this little Casio. Now Casio, my first ever keyboard.
Yeah, you have a long history.
I have me and Casio back.
Yeah.
So there were two directors, two guys that sat on the chair. And they both would throw things back and forth to each other. It was interesting. I'd never seen anything like that before. And they were the coolest guys in the world. Some directors can be pretentious. They could be full of themselves. These guys were the coolest. They said, "Hey, play something." And so we had a female too. We had Brian. We had Dennis. Steve. Thomas, or Toku. And then we had Brian, and then me. Brian was a saxophone player, and but she didn't audition with us. They just threw her in the mix with us. So we played, and they wound up keeping what we played in the commercial.
Oh,
so that was, I was like, oh, that's a surprise. So yeah, that I think what I've been into, I think the past 3 or 4 years has been classical music. I've been into, Joseph Chevalier. I've been into Vladimir Horowitz is definitely my favorite. This is trumpet player. I mean, her tone is so good that she sounds like a keyboard. I mean, she sounds, it's just so precise. And I don't know if you could do circular breathing on a trumpet, but she sounded like, I was like, there's no way you could do lines that long without breathing. I think she had it. But these are top tier players. This is the best of the best in classical music. Like, why listen to anything else? And then I've been into Mexican music, ranchera, peso pluma, Havana de Primera. I've been into just stuff that is not quid pro quo for a keyboard musician, where you just listen to keyboard music or jazz or it's like, what can I play? Let me learn something else. So that's where I have been going with my music, and I'm going to continue to go. I when I do need to, or I want to be inspired, I'll go listen to my little brother on piano downloads on YouTube. He's
a monster.
Yes, he's a monster, and he will privately send me some things that he's working on, and I'm like, oh yeah, I love it. And I'm trying to get him to do a record. Like, bro, do a record. I thought I'll mix it. Just do a record because his stuff is really good.
Why is he hesitant? He's crazy good.
Yeah. He's got 3 kids and a wife and a job. So his YouTube, but his YouTube is like well over 50,000 followers now.
Wow.
And that's I don't know what the revenue is like on that, but I think it's the only thing that gets in our way is ourselves. So it's him. He could do it. If he had to do it, he could do it. He loves to write, but what do you do when you got mouths to feed?
Yeah.
You gotta, you know what I mean? It's a whole different ballgame. I don't have mouths to feed. I got one mouth.
Yeah, we've met a number of people like that are there, right? The talent is there, everything is there, but they also have a life to run. And so whatever they're doing, you know, whatever level they're at, there's a level above them, but to get to that next level requires access to shit they don't have, whether it's the desire, the lack of fear, or just, you know, the cost. It's just hard to get to that next level.
It is. That's where the faith and the sacrifice comes in. You have to sacrifice, and there's some things you just got to leave on the table. And like, okay, I'm gonna go do this, and it will happen for you if you just keep doing it. Like, I never expected to get that Little Caesars commercial. I never expected.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere.
Out of the blue. It's funny because the girl who hooked me up with the audition and who worked for the agency that I had to sign to in order to get it, she don't talk to me no more. Like,
what happened?
I have no idea.
What'd you do?
Right. What did I tell me? Please tell me. And it just won't speak to me. And I know it's deliberate because we met. I've introduced to her to friends that are now mutual, and they call me and they say, "Hey, asked about you." I was like, "Really now?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay." So I sent text, I sent email, I made phone calls to no avail, but now she wants to know how I'm doing. How about
Hey, man, it's okay, Corey. We all got friends like that. I got a couple friends like that. You know, sometimes, you know, Pete and I will go, "Hey, such and so," you know, like, "So talk to so and so," or, "Hey, have you talked to so and so?" Yeah, they ask about you. You know, and it's okay. Some people want to be friends from afar. You know.
But not when you're so close. Not when you used to hang out, go to dinner,
Yeah.
go to parties, meet different people, and then all of a sudden you get ghosted and you don't know why. But I mean, one of the 4 agreements is don't take anything personal. So I didn't take it personal. And if should she reach out again and say, "Hey, what's up?" I will just as if it never happened because I didn't lose anything. If anything, I gained. You know, I got credit. I got that Little Caesar commercial running on my website.
Yeah.
So
And aside from the things that you can keep score on, you know, there's a little piece of your life that she contributed to.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And maybe she'll contribute again another time. Maybe not, but you know, if she does, I agree with you, man. People dip in and out of our lives. Sometimes we can't do anything about it, you know.
Right. And we just have to
And
I don't take
we
it
have to
personal.
not take it personal, like you said, you
Right.
know.
Right. I wish her the best. I wish her well. I wish her well.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's life. So yeah, music is a big part. I like to write the charts because I get to read. I don't get to read all the time. I mean, I could sight read chord charts, but I don't get to, like, I have to have notes, like notation written. And that's why I like this particular gig. And then Williams having me, I said, "Hey, I hear horns. I hear a baritone sax solo. Am I playing that?" And he said, "Yes." So I got to find a bari sax sound to play a solo at an oldies gig. So
Yeah.
yeah. So music
And
is
so where
good.
did you guys meet anyway, you and William Bryant?
How did I meet? I met William Bryant on a gig. I can't remember, but he's been in LA for so long. He's just one of those names that pop up.
Yeah.
You
He's
know
been
what I
around for a
mean?
long, long time. I mean, he played on Billy Preston records in the 80s. He's played with Harvey Mason. He's played with Freddie Hubbard. He's been around.
But man, William Bryan and he's the coolest dude. He's an elder. The church gig that I have now,
Hmm.
I play second to him. I play organ at the church. He plays piano at the church. Just a really cool cat. And I mean, I love him. And he's like, yeah, Cori, you my dude, man. Yeah, you want to do this gig? Yeah, I'll do this gig. And he said, yeah, man, I'm grateful for the work. Grateful for the work. And
Yeah.
that's somebody who's gonna play. He's going out like Miles. Like you just play till you drop. And because he was working in the 70s, he's working now, which is like a lot of artists who had hits in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, if they're still around, and they wish they can always play. There's always going to be an audience or some kid in music school studying that era, and it's like, wait, that person's still alive. Let me go see them. Like Jodie Watley from the 80s, best
Yeah.
new, she won best new artist.
Uh-huh. That was
In the
after.
1900s.
Yeah, back in the 1900s. That was after she had been in Shalimar.
Yep. And I've done some of those songs. I think we did one of the Shalimar songs once. And quiet yeah, we won't talk about Shalimar.
Yeah, she doesn't want to talk about Shalimar, but just for reference, we were talking about William Bryant, and he played
Right.
on a Shalimar record.
Did he
back
really?
in 1982? Yeah.
Woo! See, I mean,
So
he's
been
done
around.
so much, man. And I asked him, I said, I mean, you probably got a lot of stories with Marvin. He said, man, I got so many stories.
Yeah.
I got so many stories with Marvin. And the most interesting thing William taught me about Marvin Gaye was that Marvin Gaye could really play piano. Like really.
Uh-huh.
Like passing chords, not just pick at it. He could play. And Marvin, was showing William something. He said, "Nah, man, hey, I want you to play it like this, but playing passing chords." And I was like, "Really?" He's like one of those. He just had this hidden talent. Same with that the guy sing My New Edition, Johnny Gill.
Johnny Gill, yeah.
Johnny Gill could play the heck out of a guitar.
Oh.
I mean, he's like fusion level, jazz fusion level guitar player. I was like, who is that? Is that Johnny Gill? Oh my God! There's a lot of talent in the industry, and some people they get in where they fit in. They still have all this talent, but they get in. Michael Jackson could play, but you never hear. I mean, there are some videos of him playing, but he knew where his strength was.
Yeah.
Well,
it's nice that you are in his tutelage, but I'm sure he's very happy to have your contribution as well.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm scrolling through his Discogs. He played on the Robert Palmer Heavy Nova album.
Did he?
Yeah. I love that album.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that album out. He now teaches at Santa Monica College in Santa Monica.
Okay.
And they love him over there. I mean, and I just hope. I don't know what the industry was like with those records. I mean, I still get royalties from the Beyonce record and the Pussycat Doll records, and he's played on so many records that I'm hoping he's getting his mechanicals and his royalties. But a lot of that kind of ceased when the industry has changed a lot, and those people were making hundreds of millions when they were selling records. They're making even more now, but the only thing that has suffered is the artists. The artists aren't getting what they want. You have to own your masters. If anybody's out there, you write a song, you need to own your masters, register it with the Library of Congress, and register it with your PRO, either ASCAP or BMI. They both do the same thing. So they basically help you get your royalties and register your songs with SoundCloud. So.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, you have situations like Spotify where folks who work at Spotify do very, very, very well. The founder of Spotify is a gajillionaire.
$342 million last year. And artists make 0.0014 per stream. You need over 100 streams to get a penny, and you won't get that penny if you don't get more than $1,000, more than 1,000 streams within a 1 year period.
No,
and they don't have to pay you out. So they've made it so we know you're going to do music, and we know you're going to do it regardless, and you're always going to try to build your fan base. So we are going to take everything that comes in until you reach that level, and then you'll start making it. But until then, we got all these people. We'll let it add up. We are getting that, and then you'll get yours if you keep going. So,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing about all of that, and I don't disagree. Like, the artists definitely don't get their fair share of this, but what Spotify did was they captured an entire market. So they've got Beyonce's audience, they've got Lady Gaga's audience, and if you want to get an audience, you got to go there, and they don't got to pay anything because, they have the audience. They have people clicking on. I don't use their app specifically, and not that I know where to go. That's where it doesn't happen to them. But I don't use Spotify. I try to buy my music straight from the artist, right, as much as possible. But it's hard to even support anybody with that because I can only do so much by myself. There's not 10 million of me,
Right.
And so yeah, if you listen on Spotify, just know that the artist isn't getting paid fair. Is it going to be better on YouTube? No.
Right. But it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing as shopping at Walmart. The most of the stuff you get at Walmart is from a sweatshop over in China, where they're exploiting. They exploit a lot of the workers. But the products are cheap. The product, you can get some cheap good stuff there. So I'm not. Don't hate the play, hate the game, and they know what the game is. And so I look at it and go, okay, it will work itself out. Exploitation can only last so long before something has to give. Either artists will be like, you know what, forget this, and then Spotify may dry up, or Spotify might find it, and Apple Music and Tidal. They're all Jay-Z if he went that route of let me pay these people maybe a nickel or 25 cents a stream, and see how many people would flock to Tidal. But he's making this as much money as the people at Spotify. They're all making money, so no one's caring about the worker. They're only caring about the bottom line. And I don't blame them, but I'm like, the music community, we are not as unified as if we were unified. We could put a stop to this. If we boycotted, we would. And some artists have. Taylor Swift took all her stuff down. Prince took all his stuff down. But the artists have found a lot of money in touring. Taylor Swift was here in LA for like a week. People were flying in.
Her tour was enormous.
Oh my God. It was. And she did something that no artist has ever done in the history of music. Is she paid her truck drivers, the people who lug all the gear from state to state. She paid each of them $100,000.
The bonus. Paid her whole road crew a bonus of $100,000
on top of what they're already getting paid.
Yeah,
you tell me if they're not showing up to work early the next day,
man.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. Now, can I quote Taylor Swift songs? Probably about 3 of them, but I'm a fan of her because, hey, she's more successful than anybody else, and then she goes and does things like that, spreads the good fortune around.
She's
and
so popular. There's millions of people that hate her, right? Like
Yeah.
that's when you know you're big. Like you have this giant audience, and you have an audience of people that hate you. That's just like the biggest thing ever. Because there's people that hate everybody, but when you got millions of people hating you, man, you must have a fuckload of fans.
Well, and you're gonna, and a lot of that is jealousy. I've sat in the room with women, and then we were watching a Beyonce show, and she was just going on and on about that should be me, and I should be there, and that should be me, and I'm just like, whoa, well, you just can't be happy for her.
Yeah,
it's. Yeah. I mean, it should be inspiring. Instead, some people, but you know what? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? All we see is what we see. We have no idea. We have no idea. I thought Diddy had it made. I thought Cassie or whoever he was dating, I was like, oh, they're straight. I mean, for life, but we don't know what's going on. And that's the thing. All we can do is just be happy with what we do. And that's all I'm trying to do is be happy.
Ain't that the truth, man?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And protect my peace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to hear that you got all these gigs, though. I mean, that's fantastic. And hopefully that flow of work just keeps going. You know how it is. It's like when you meet, I'm a musician. Oh, I'm a comedian. Oh, I'm an actor. Yeah. Well, I don't even know what that means. Like, how many other jobs do you have? 7. And you're like, oh, then you're really doing well. You only got 7 jobs? Because this making shit is hard. Like, look, I mean, I'm lucky to have a little bit of money because I got, gotten more and got all beat up. But, Cori, we've been doing this between Jon and I. It's 2,000 episodes, man. 10 years, wow. Right?
Yeah, I remember the first few you guys did, and you haven't stopped, and that is the ticket, bro. That is you're headed. That's that Joe Rogan trajectory, and so many people don't get to 100 episodes, or if they don't get to 500. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, he said they don't get to 10. They give up.
Yeah, it is a ticket, right? But I know you're going to get this. I've had to figure out what's valuable, right? And so I probably won't ever get my show to where it's like 100 million people watching it. Well, that's just not in the cards, right? And if it gets there, okay, great. But it's going to take shit that I can't control because all I can do is work hard, show up every day. But I have met so many wonderful people. And, you and I both, Jon, too, we've been all up and down those Malibu hills. I've driven through Laurel Canyon and stopped at someone's house because they were the person who's going to be on my show that day. I went to what used to be Orson Welles' house and did a show live from that lady's house, right? The lady owns it now, Rudy Lee. And so it is amazing. And it's not just the experiences, it's the connections. It's the, hey, Pete, do you know? Or, hey, Pete, do you have? And all of a sudden you become valuable in a way that you could never have imagined, right? And so it is a ticket, but it was on me to figure out what was valuable about it, And so I had to keep going because it continues to be valuable. Even if I have to drive Uber, right, or deliver someone food, I'm humble enough to go, I just needed a couple extra $100 this month. Let me go out and figure out where those $100 are, because the rest of my time, I've got my freedom, I've got my projects, and that's, you can't put a value on that.
No, you can't. Like the actor, was the actor who was working at Trader Joe's, and somebody recognized him, and he was just like, I'm paying bills, and his wife was holding him down, and now he's working again. That's this industry is one of those industries. It's one of those industries where, hey, if you go hard and nothing happens, you keep going hard. And then if something happens and then it slows, because entertainment is feast or famine. Some people are eating really good.
Yeah, some people are. You know what? It stops being the point after a while. To quote, what movie was that? The Knockaround Guys. There was the scene in the Knockaround Guys where Vin Diesel described that he thought to be a legitimate tough guy, he had to get into 500 fights. And then at some point, you just lose count and it stops being the point.
Yeah.
And then you are just what you are, And at some point, we defined ourselves in our lives as musicians. Will we ever be world famous? Who knows? Maybe not. But it's allowed us to be in places where, as creators, we get these opportunities to create from a place where one of our peers who's maybe been a lot more successful than we have allows us in because we are in the fraternity.
Yeah,
The creator is a
yeah,
fraternity that you choose to be in, and there is some nobility around the fact that, in spite of what some people would say is a lack of success,
hmm
those who are successful realize that, and we've heard this many times, hey man, I got lucky. And so
yeah,
now that I've been lucky, would I let you guys around to maybe get lucky around here? Of course, because somebody
yeah,
did that for me.
yeah,
And
and
so those
yeah,
opportunities open up from time to time. I mean, you're working with William Bryant, and you are, as he said, his boy.
yeah,
So, you get to be in somebody's tutelage like that. Maybe you catch a couple lucky streaks from time to time. And, when you're in the middle of that, that's what your life is about. The
Mhm.
reality is that for most of us, save one or two of us every 100 or so years, 100 years from now, we will all have been forgotten.
yeah, yeah,
All of us, by even our family members.
yeah,
What do you know about your great grandfather? You
yeah.
know?
I don't know anything.
So the
I
thing is, here
yeah,
we have this present moment, and this is what we must embrace because as creators, we know you don't have anything but the present moment.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
now I challenge the two of you to just look back because here the three of us are, and the three of us can say, we've had some moments. Pete and I can say, we have had some moments. Corey, you and I can say, man, we have had some moments, truly remarkable moments. And I know that I've individually looked at each of you at some point, at many points, and been like, what in the hell are we doing here?
I
So
thought
true.
that I thought that when I was playing in this band, and it was we went on at 4 a.m. and I had
You went
I
on
had
at 4 a.m.
we went on at
Wow.
4 a.m. I had and it was out in the valley. And if you know LA, you know what the valley is known for. And it was my first adult entertainment party. there, there was some stuff going on.
You went on
Somebody's
at 4 a.m. in Van Nuys.
right. You were there.
He
You were
was.
there. It was. Man, somebody come over to me and said, "Hey, Corey, go over by the couch." It's like, why? Just go over by the couch. I go over by the couch, and my God, I mean, he was sitting down, and there was a woman, and mind you, I've only seen this on the screen. I've never seen this in real life, ever. Not, and even when Poor Lady was being played, um, I seen it in live, and I was just like, oh, I had to get out of the. I mean, I walked away because that's not. I don't want to see that. I want to be in the room, but where I was, that was what was there. So, I mean, sometimes, and I'm like, how the hell did I get here? Why is this? Why is this happening? But it's part of being in the entertainment business. It's part of being in. I was in a band called Be Natural, and then they said, "Hey, let's take a break." We took a break, and they played me.
Don't tell that story.
Oh my God! My first John Holmes video. I was like,
Um,
what the fuck? Anyway, yeah, we've had some moments.
yeah. So Pete,
I was.
I want to tell you this because
Oh.
he brought it up. We broke Corey. Corey was a good church going boy. He went to church every Sunday, and we thank that environment for cultivating his ability to play. But we were playing a gig as a band, and it was our first paying gig, and we were preparing for it. So we thought, what we ought to do is we ought to show Corey his first piece of pornography when we take a break. And we did that. And there was a scene where it was just, man, they were getting after it. And I mean, he was putting it down. And then at the end of the scene, Corey looked up and his words were, poor lady.
Was this on VHS, reel to
And
reel?
she
What were you
was
guys watching
catching a
on?
good stupid. It was on
Yeah.
VHS. Yeah, it was on VHS.
It was
Yeah,
on VHS. Yeah. It was on. It
There's
was on
something
VHS.
dirtier about reel to reel, though. I got to tell you, because that,
Yes.
it's just so crazy. Well, welcome to
wow,
the
you
club.
went
It's a
way
more
way
analog,
back.
more tactile experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Corey's come a long way since then. And now your
yeah.
artistic opportunities have brought you into places where you will start playing at 4 a.m. And it's not that you start playing so you can get an early start on the day. It's at 4 a.m. because it's been going that long.
Right. Band was crazy. Band was good.
That's the party.
But I can't leave out. I mean, there's some good times, but then there's some times where I have been shorted. I have been screwed over. There's music out there with my ideas on it, and I'm not benefiting from it.
Yeah.
I just did a benefit concert, and the guy who hired me, he named the price. I didn't, and then he still shorted me.
Wow.
And he's with a very reputable band. I'm not going to put the band on blast or him on blast because who knows? There's one thing we don't know is we don't know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have, regardless of their disposition, I was like, for some reason he did what he did.
Yeah.
But that's part of it.
Felt like he had to at the time.
Right. Well, yeah, name the price that's comfortable for you, but don't. And that for a minute there, I was really upset. I was like pissed because I put the band together, and then it took a minute for them to get paid, and that's what really sent me over the. And one of the dudes is from Chicago, and if you know anything about Chicago cats, you do not mess with them.
Yeah.
You do not. I got a phone call. Dude said, "Where does he live?" And then I said, "Hold on, bro. Let me call him. Hey, bro, they want to know where you live." And next thing you know,
you better hurry up.
You better hurry up because I'm about to set the dogs loose. But in those moments, I have to say what I learned. I learned forgiveness. Like, I don't know what that guy's going through. Did I like what he did? No, don't like what he did. But the universe knows what it's doing, and I'm supposed to get something out of that. I'm supposed to learn something from that situation. Like the night I got arrested for a U-turn and taken to jail and my car towed, and they lied on the police report. And I'd never been in jail in my entire life. That was the first time. And I was like, this is what it's like. And I tell you, and I will say this, you don't know the feeling when you walk into a room and they close the door and you hear that extra latch go, and you don't see a knob or a handle where you can open that, you're fucked. You can't go, your freedom is gone. I mean, I experienced that. There was nothing you can do. All I could do is just say, don't look at the door. Don't look at the door. So I just sat there I was in jail for 4 hours. And it was, and I had to learn forgiveness in that because the prison that I put those officers in, mind you, my thumbs were numb and I was bleeding because I couldn't fit inside the back seat of the car because I was a little too tall. So the short cop took a step back. He was easy 300 pounds and elbowed me across the center divider in the car. And I landed in the well. And I was like, this is not going to end well. But the prison that I put those guys in, it was a male and a female, would be the same prison I'm in because you can't hold somebody back without holding yourself back. So to free them would mean I could be free. Mm-hmm. And that's what I learned. A lot of people, you should have. And I know a guy, I told a guy he's made a living off of suing cops. And he's had cops, they had to take a second mortgage on their house because he was going after them that hard. with the feds. He said, I'll help you do it and I won't charge you a dime. I was like, well, no, we're not going to do that because I'm not going to relive that for the next 5 to 7 years because it's going to take some time to get some money. And then what if I got to go on tour? What if I go overseas somewhere? I can't because I got to be in court. So, I just want to play. I swim in a sea of sharks, but I love to swim. I love it.
Wow,
So
that's profound, man.
Thanks. So whether I make $1 million or I don't, my piece is intact. I'm happy, bro. I've been around the world. And every time I've gone around the world, somebody else paid for it. And I've done almost everything I want. Now, do I have the fame? No, I don't. Do I want the fame? No, I don't. Honestly, I know people who want that fame. I mean, they want it more than they want the money, which is why the music industry can thrive the way it does. So people want the fame before they want the money. But yes,
that's true. They are driven more by the fame, and they figure the money will come, and they're not busy counting the money. So they're not doing the accounting part of it. That's an interesting thought too. I'm kind of in a hot streak, Corey. Not that I'm famous, but I'm kind of locally famous. In my neighborhood, I'm a rock star. And I play a lot, and I'm lucky enough that all the places where I play are real close to my house.
Yeah, he's the king of First Street in Benicia. He is.
Yeah.
Hey,
he can't get the smile off his face.
I used to deliver pizzas at Pacifica Pizza on
yes, I know.
Yeah. And Matt, Matt Broom, is it?
Yeah.
Matt Broom
He worked
still
there.
there. Tall guy. No, not Matt Broom. What's the tall, skinny dude? The Irish cat. I forgot his name. Chrissy knows.
Seamus?
Yeah, Chrissy would know.
Yeah, she would definitely know. Because that's how I met Christy through Pacifica Pizza.
Before I did.
Before you did. And then John brought her over to Brian's house, and I was like, who brought KB over here? I will never forget that as long as I live. That was one of those things, life is gonna throw you some things, and just don't sweat the small stuff. It's just the big stuff is what's important.
I was going to ask you this question though, because we're rounding third base here, because you are. I'm not afraid to now, and have never been afraid to say, you are at a different caliber of player than I am. But like I said, I'm very fortunate to be in the neighborhood where I am. I play a lot, and I play in some coveted spots. I just found out last night that my home field is Luca's Beer Garden. I'm playing 4 bands that play in that place.
Wow.
And I get to play there frequently. I'm playing there this Thursday.
Wow.
And they have music from Thursday through Sunday, 2 shows on Saturday, and now they're expanding to Wednesdays too.
Oh, so they're doing good.
They do have a lot of music there. They have 400 bands in their roster.
Woo.
That they can choose from. And the secondary list is nearing 800, where they're like, that's an additional 300 some odd bands that they can go. These guys are okay too, but we really draw from these 400 bands.
Yeah.
They got last year in submissions nearly 1,500.
Damn.
Submissions from bands who wanted to play there.
Wow.
And let's just say what it is. I am mildly okay as a drummer. I'm just pretty good. I could rattle off 50 drummers I know who are better than me. But I get to do this, and I get to do it in my neighborhood. I get gigs where it's like, if I have to drive more than 15 minutes to play a gig, bitch and moan about it, Corey.
Yeah.
So I realize how lucky I am. The question is, At what point do I say, you know what, this all goes away if I don't actually get better at this?
No, it's. Let me tell you something. Is as far as when it comes to drums, if you got a pocket and that pocket is barely moving, maybe 1 dB, one BPM faster or slower, if you stay within that range, you will always work. Because you got to look at Questlove. Questlove does not have gospel chops. Questlove has got a pocket and a groove for your ass, and it's just 2 and 4, boom, catch, boom. He's not He's not Dave Weckl on the drums, but he works, and he tells you, I work. He says, I don't have all this. He's got the comb, the pick, the afro. He's got the persona. All those notes people don't care about. I've heard you play, and I was like, yeah, pocket. He's got pocket. He puts the fills in the right place. He knows the songs. But you don't want the drummers that I use drummers that have chops and all day long, and then I use drummers that just hold it down. That all they do is just hold it 2 and 4. Bass players, the same thing. Sometimes people just want to hear the song and they don't want to hear. I mean, if you want to, I mean, talent, it does not equate to success. I know homeless people can sing their ass off.
Yeah.
Sing. Ain't nobody trying to. I know I could rattle off 20 keyboard players that are better than me, and then I could say that and they know me and I know them, and we talk and I listen to their records. I said we gonna put out a record. I'm putting out records. Some of them aren't. They're just playing in bands and they're not putting out their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's the talent is there, but if you don't have the drive. That's like having a Lamborghini and it's in the garage. If you ain't driving it, ain't doing you no good. It's just a car in the garage. Yeah. You can't even get booty with it. It's in the garage.
Right. So keep driving my hoopty and leave the back seat open for the booty. Is what your advice is.
Man,
that's what I heard.
Yeah. All I'm saying is all that shit's gonna come. I mean, you ain't even gotta try. It's just like you ain't got to try. But taking things to the next level means getting out of the comfort zone. Getting comfort is the death of creativity. And it is you ever drive to an intersection and the car in front of the car in front of you is waiting for the car in front of it to go all the way through the intersection before they go into the intersection, and then you wind up following that car because god damn it, just go through the damn intersection. Some people are afraid, and I understand my brother. I don't think I would be the same way if I had a family and a wife and some kids. There's no, I can't do this unless it's already there. That's why some people, when they get their first $20 million check as movie stars, then okay, now I can go date whoever and start a family. But as a musician, it's like I love it so much that it's like this. The sacrifice is okay. You sacrifice relationships, you sacrifice friendships, and then you find out all these other people around you are trying to grow as well, and they're screwing you. I've had 15-year friendships go to pop because I finally found out they were just using me. But you have to let that go too. It's like, oh, okay, well, they'll soon know that it's you can't do that to people. So I mean, I say keep playing, bro. And if you're playing in 4 bands there, if you want to take that to the next level, now you need to play in a band in San Francisco, or you need to catch a tour because cover bands tour. Some cover bands get flown to Dubai. I know I met a guy went to Dubai. Dude, he didn't play at a hotel. He played at a palace. Showed me pictures. A palace that looked like an airport. All for like 2 miles, you just saw road. And at the end of the road, you saw lights that looked like a city. That was a palace.
Wow.
And then it was supposed to be one date. the guy who they were playing for flew them to a few other countries around Dubai. They were there for like a whole week. And I'm like, whoa, that's a whole nother level of a cover band. I'm just gonna go play these tunes. So I mean, success is just once you it's here's the thing. Just real quick. They did this experiment where they put a grasshopper in a jar and they put the lid on the jar. The grasshopper kept jumping up and hitting the lid on the jar, jumping up, and it would always hit the lid. They took the lid off and the grasshopper would jump, but it wouldn't go past where the lid was.
Only high enough to reach where the lid was.
Right. Right, but not high enough to get out. So it was
chicken shit grasshopper.
It was conditioned. But sometimes that's how we are.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can't do that because I'm not there. Or I'm not that talented. I'm like, do you know how I got the Allen Iverson documentary? From a relationship, a friend. Hey, do you wanna score this film? Yeah, who's it? Allen Iverson. What? Wait, aren't you gonna get a reputable somebody who scores? No, do you want to do it? Say yes or no, bro. Yeah, I want to do it. And so
and then
that's how it comes. And
it was great, by the way.
It made Showtime's best sports documentary ever. It made Netflix's top 200 sports documentaries. And this was in 2016. So were they looking for talented? No, they went solely off of the word of my friend who used to sing with Michael Jackson. And they said, oh, can he do it? Yeah. And then from that connection, I was working with the A-list editor who did Spider-Man, Geely, Book of Eli. And they didn't say send us links to your playing. He said you can do it.
Yeah.
And that's what, but I'm never in my comfort zone. I am when it's R&B, jazz, funk, but when it comes to classical, ranchera, Mexican music, Persian music, some classical music, maybe some Jewish music, I am not in my comfort zone. I am just like deer in headlights. But I don't care. This is where I'm gonna learn.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm learning, then that's getting better.
Kevin has a question for you.
Oh yeah, do it, John.
What do you think about a James Brown musical style mixed with metal? Metal is James Brown.
Take the distortion off.
Yeah.
Take the distortion off a metal track, and you got James Brown. And metal is very rhythmic. The thing about metal is, and I used to pedal CDs at the beach. And everybody was like, no, I like country. No, I like country. No, I like. So I did a country album. And then I tried my hand at metal. I couldn't get past 5 tunes, but I did 5 tunes. And I was like, oh, man, this. I mean, I can't play guitar like that.
Yeah. Metal players are performance athletes. Like they're sprinters.
Especially the drummers.
Yeah.
And they program those drums nowadays. I've seen metal acts and I listen to the drums. I'm like, who's playing this? Is this real? No, we program it.
Yeah. No, I know a metal guitar player who's great, and I'm like, man, who is that drummer? And he was like, drummer's initials are AI.
I mean, and that's where we are. That's when I respect. I know a metal player. Actually, the guitar player for Aloe Black was in the metal. And Fusion. I did the Queen Latifah show with him. So a lot of guys have a metal background, and they have another guy, and I know, just partnered with Dennis Chambers, who just put out his own brisket. He's a metal shredder, like shredder. So blend metal with James Brown, blend metal with Afrobeat, blend metal with jazz, blend.
Yeah.
Just be out of your comfort zone. Do not be comfortable. There is a video with Chick Corea playing with Stevie Wonder, and they're doing one of Stevie Wonder's tunes. Chick does not play soul. And the band that chick was in, it was just the worst. And Stevie, when he does not like what's happening, just gets stiff. And he got stiff. And Chick tried to kind of come back on it because Chick could play. Come on, but the rest of the band just wasn't, just get out of your comfort zone. That's all I'm gonna say. And then the next level will start to creep up. Wait, I didn't know you could play like that. I didn't know you did that. Yeah.
It's crazy too, where we live, all the different gigs that are out there, which make them all potentially available to you. Whoever you is, whether it's Cori or Jon, whoever it's going to be. There is a wedding band, and they don't play, but they perform. Microphones, dancing, great outfits, right? They're called the Ellies, and they play these $1 million weddings. Whether you're Armenian, Jewish, Greek, Black, and they have a set for all of them. And so these performers know how to be in heels, stay skinny and look great, sing like $1 million while they're physically moving around. They go all over. They go to Mexico all the time. But that is a gig that's available for someone who's prepared for that. And this is one of the things. And you had talked about this before, like when whoever it's going to be, Lauren, what's her name, who hired you, Lauren Hill. When you have to be ready, and you can see it one time. Maybe even half a time. It's like, you go right now. And if you aren't ready for that thing, there's something for that. I think that's like Jon is ready to take another thing, but he's got a family. He's got his life. And so it's interesting when you have something that's comfortable. It's not necessarily a bad thing to change that, And so you have like your brother or whatever, whoever it's going to be. If you've got a groove, maybe you don't want that next thing. Maybe you don't want to go. Who did we have on, Jon? Who was the drummer for Pink that we had on? Mark, what's his name?
Yeah, Mark Schulman.
Yeah, Mark Schulman. And he basically said, you pay me to be gone from my family. You don't pay me to be on the drum.
He said, I don't get paid to play the drums anymore. I get paid to miss my daughter's birthday.
Yeah, and be the band dad.
Yeah.
But right. And he's like, and he said, that's expensive. Yeah. That's what I charge it, and so there's all these things that go into, like, there's stuff available, but it's never as simple as you want. And what you think you want fame, and then you meet a famous person, you're like, that person's miserable. Oh my God, look at their life. No wonder they're miserable.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I think though that across the screen, I see the three of us, and we're ready. I think we're grounded enough, and we've been beat down enough times that if some sudden burst of fame were to befall any of the three of us, we'd do fine with it.
I know I would. I think I was at the NAMM show.
I know you would too.
This guy comes over to me and he goes, "Are you Cori Jacobs?" I was like, "What?" Yeah. Oh my God. I'm like, it's that, and then being on the set on the commercial, I heard my name on the radios from the DP, the product, the guys running around, from the directors, from the get Cori down here. We need him. If we can get Cori down here, the directors will be okay. Is Cori dressed? Is Cori? Nobody else in the band but me. My name. And I was like, this must be what Denzel is hearing, or Cuba Gooding Jr. or Tom Cruise or Robert De Niro. They're hearing their names, and I'm just like, good Lord! All because I said they really jazzed it up, and that's what got us the commercial. And I'm like, wow, but. Here's the reality. After the commercial, the very next day, crickets.
It's funny.
That's the reality of it, bro. You're gonna be famous one day and not famous. Michael Jackson was miserable.
Yeah.
The very next day, you're only as good as the last thing you've done.
Man. Hey, I got a 7:30 rehearsal.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. I got to get back to these charts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, thank you both for coming on. I'm going to shut this thing off, and we'll say goodbye to each other off mic. But everybody else, thank you so much. That was 3 shows today, you guys. And there's more coming tomorrow. All right. Here we go.
Wow.